So here we are. I'm going to share the screen again. I know most of you must be knowing Power BI. I'm going to start with something very basic and then I'll drop in and I'll be showing some stuff. My name is Indira Vadapally and I'm coming from US, Wisconsin State, Milwaukee. And please be muted. And I see that you're already muted and raise your hand. And Yui is the moderator. He's going to help us moderate the session and put them in the chat window. He'll help us get the question to me. And every 20 minutes, I'm going to give a 5 minutes break. So we'll have two times a break of 5 minutes just so that you can absorb. Okay. What is my session about? I know it's easy to get the data into Power BI desktop. I'm not going to do the demo, but I'm going to walk you through some of the good practices that I have been teaching so that it's easy for you to do it. And I just want to give it like a small nuggets area. Okay. So I get the data as a single source or as multiple sources and do basic transformation steps in the query editor. I'm just going to ask for a poll. How many people know Power BI? Thumbs up if you know, thumbs down if you don't know. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Okay, everybody pretty much knows what is Power BI and the windows in it. I'll quickly jump into 2 or 3 pointers in the Power BI desktop so that we are comfortable walking through the finished files. And there are some nuggets. I promise you, you will get them by the end of this session that you will take it with you. So I'm going to share my screen again. So here we are in the session view and you know how to do the get data and play around with the transform data and the 3 areas, the report view and the data view and the model view. So in this Power BI file, I have the first file, which is known as a population solution PBIX. I'm going to share all of my files and the presentation later. So if you want it, you can ask the data stars and you can get it. Anyway, I uploaded the population Excel file and that Excel file looks like this. I'm going to open it. If you see the this is the one that I pulled from the Kaggle. I'm a Kaggle user heavily. So this is how I would see a file coming in. These are the years going way back, way back. And I want to pull only for 5 years and put the slicer for 5 years and for this many countries of the world. So this is the file I uploaded into the Power BI file, into the Power BI desktop. And if you go into the transform data, I'm showing you the final file. At last, we are going to walk through one file like this, but I'm going to walk through what I did with this. The agenda is to know how to transform the data in the Power Query Editor. I clicked on the transform data and you will see all the steps I already did. One of the tip I want to give you is this is a transformed date column. This transform date column came through with 2 types of changed steps. So this is the file that I uploaded and I transformed. The source looked like this and then the navigation and I promoted the headers. See, all the steps are being recorded in this file. So I'm just walking through and then replaced a value. As I said again, the agenda is to understand how we transform the files without the database and how we combine the files and append the files. And I'm going to show that. That is the agenda of this session. So you know the steps, the sheet, and all the transformations. The only highlight of this transformation window is how I changed the, as you can see, 2 is a, let me go into change type. It is a decimal number right now, but we want it as a date. So I took couple of steps to get to it. First, I changed it into a text and then into a date. This is a tip for you. Usually you cannot directly change a decimal number into a date. So you have to run through the hoops to get to this stage. So this is one tip I want to give, and I'm just going to close. I think you all know about this. You just close it out and you come to it. So I made a slicer here and a simple default table. If you select it, you will see that I selected a table and a slicer. And if I go back into the transform data, let me go in here. I have only 4 years. I selected only 4 years in the transform data. So this is pretty much a simple get data file, did the transformations to pull only the 4 years. And you can see that I selected only 4 years down here. And by clicking on the set this icon and the edit settings, you can see that also that, I selected only 4 years. So this is the way you can walk through your steps of the Power BI desktop of what all you did. There are a lot of files that you will see on the web, the PBIX files. PBIX is a file extension of a Power BI desktop that you can explore like this. So this is one of the file I wanted to walk through. File preview population solution.pbix. I told you, right? This is the file type extension. So coming to the next module, how you can pull a web URL data into a Power BI desktop. So how would you do that? These are the simple steps I did to get to the final file, which is this one, Web Milwaukee Weather Solution. So you know that get data and from the URL, or you can do from more, and you will get a window. Where are you? It's somewhere hidden. Yeah. So I can do this and other I will say, and I'll say web, and I can pull up the web data. So I pulled out the weather.com data. If you want to see the data source settings, you go into the data source settings. And here is our data source that I did. If you want, you can go into clear permissions and pull it again and all that stuff. I'm not going to go into it. Our aim for this file is how to pull a web API or a web URL data and clean it up. So I again go into the transform data and I did some extensions. This is a JSON file and it got extracted into a HTML and I changed some of the types here and I removed the top rows and added a conditional column. And so I'm going to close out of this. There is one thing I wanted to give you a message about in this file is a custom column that I did. And I said don't summarize, and this is a custom column that I got with the date. So how did I understand all this? I went into the model and I looked at it and I went into the data and I looked at the data and I cleared out everything. So this is very simple. So the message I want to give out of this web URL is, let me go back to the Power BI window, with a simple table column, or you can change whatever you want. You can do it into a matrix, and I'm not going into the visualization. That's all easy. You just click on the data and look for the possible things happening in this visualization window. It will come through. So I'm going to take a pause. After these two, it's very simple and a walkthrough is done right now. So you can pull a data from Excel without having a database. You can pull data from two Excel files and make it as a file with the append. I'm going to show that. And then you can combine different files having the same column and do a merge. So we'll come to that later. But right now, do you have any questions? And it's it is going to be 10 minutes into the session. Any questions so far? Oh, I see something in the chat window.
There is no question so far. I just posted the feedback link
Okay.
to all the people.
Okay, thank you. So I will go back into the session then. So here we are in our PowerPoint. So we did this, get the data using a web URL, transform the file contents. This is all I showed you in the Power Query editor, and I presented the transform data into a Power BI canvas area. So this is a finished product I showed you. At the end, we are going to do a hands-on. So hang on there. I just want you to be comfortable if you are not comfortable in the Power BI desktop area and how to combine and transform the data is coming. So we opened up the Excel file, we did it, we did the transformations and made a visualization in the population PBIX, population solution. You know, it's very simple. There are some, and you can see that the yellow ones talk about the columns that are present in the canvas, and the transform data will open up the Power Query editor. Data source settings is the one that you can change your file if you want to. Okay. With this, I'm going back to the PowerPoint. Our third module I wanted to get you into good understanding is a REST API call, application programming interface call, REST. RESTful, I forgot the RESTful. If anybody can help me with the REST acronym, that would be good. RESTful transfer state something. I'm sorry, I am going blank on the extension of this acronym. Anyway, so you can take a URI and you can get the JSON file and open up that JSON file and present it into a, let me open up that. I already did that one. I pulled up the Star Wars data using this URI and I'm opening that file right now. It's taking some time. Hmm. Oh, here it is. I was opening a wrong one. Okay. This is the Star Wars file that is opening up. Yeah, let's wait for a minute. So this Star Wars file is coming out of a API call. A JSON will be expanded and it will be presenting people in the Star Wars movie as a visualization, a simple visualization with a slicer. I don't even have a slicer, it's just a table. So anyway, we go into the transform data and we can see through the steps that I have done to get to this API call. So let us wait for a minute. So, okay. So here is our source. If you see, I just did a source and I will, and it comes as a list. What is a list? A list will be again converted into a table. There is this icon up here. It will help you expand your list into files. That is what I did, expanded results. When I clicked on this, it gave me a record. Again, when I clicked on it, it gave me results.name, results.height. Each list will be expanded into different columns. So a list is like a JSON. I don't want to go beyond our topic, but JSON is a one file type where it is all in kind of a hierarchical structure. You kind of expand that hierarchical structure and get your columns out of that list. So results.height, results.mass, hair color, skin color, these are all the characters names and their attributes that are embedded in the results file. So, and then I change some type, data type of some of them, and then I expanded the results dot films. So like, you know, if I go back here, results dot film still had little more. here. And I didn't expand the species. If I did, I'll just try that and I will expand to neuros. That's how it will, and extract values. This is how you would expand each one of the column into new. And then I expanded the species, I expanded the vehicles, and they all plop up into values, and the starships also, starships used by the characters. So I'm just gonna close it out without any applying, and I pulled in the people query only these two. And these two are the ones selected that are pulled into the canvas area. So this is a API call done from JSON. We transform the list into the columns and pulled that into the canvas area. Any questions? I'm going to give a break here. I'm going to stop the presentation. Any questions? Yui?
No, so far, and no questions here.
Okay. Let's take a pause for 2 minutes. I'm going to stop my video for just for 2 minutes. Okay, I'm back. Thank you, Andre. You gave me the acronym extension of the REST representational state transfer. Thank you very much. So now I'm going to share back my screen. So here we are at the AP Star Wars. So we had done three types of get data. One with the Excel, other with the more we did a web URL, and then a API call. So these are the three modes that we inputted the data and we did some simple transformations and made a report. See how simple and powerful this Power BI uh, software is. So now moving further, I'm going back into my, so we just did this, we pulled it out of this web URI, and there's some good documentation on the site that you can get, and I'm going to share this slides deck with you. So now comes the append queries and merge queries. I'm going to take a poll from all of you guys up here. How many know about append queries and merge queries? People who know, please type yes. People who don't know, please type no. No. Okay, Andre said no. Jen said yes. Alexander, yes. No. Louis says no. Diana says no. Oh, wow. Okay. I'm surprised that you don't have a good comprehension. It's like, 1/4 of them said no, and then 3/4 said yes. So I'm happy to share what it is. let's go dig deeper into this one, and I'm going to share my screen back again. Thank you very much for your input. So here we are at the append queries and the merge queries. I took a screenshot of the append and the screenshot of the merge. And where will you find this is a question, right? So you would go into the, let's take the population solution file, the PBIX file. So I go into transform data into the Power Query editor. And here are these append queries and the merge queries. Remember that append is nothing but a union in a Venn diagram. You union the two types of data sets of the same type and combine them. That's what it is. Union of the same type of files. The use cases, some store has a file that it produces every day, and those everyday 7 days files can be combined in Power BI. By combining the queries, you will see all the sheets, right? You will get data, you will put everything here. So you'll have 7 sheets. You can combine all the 7 sheets by doing append queries, and it will tell you, it considers them as a query or the tables, right? So you can select this and drag and drop and combine all the files, and they all come together as one query, and you close and apply. I'm not doing anything here. And that file, sorry, where are you? Population. Okay, so this file will show one sheet. Although we uploaded 6 sheets in the Power Query editor, it will show as one query, and you can make a report on that 7 days of data, which is in 7 files as one file. So that is a union. So 7 days of files into one table. So see how powerful it is. You don't need a kind of a database for this. There are some use cases that you need the databases, the data warehouses, lakehouse, all this. But for a simple use case, for if they have 7 days of files, you can put them into one data table and make visualization. And how about the merge? Merge is about combining files. I do want to let you know about the combining files and the Venn diagrams. If you know that way back in your schooling time, in your young age, you know about these Venn diagrams, right? These Venn diagrams will help us understand this type of joins. When do you do a join between two tables? When they have a common column. Okay. So for example, I have a customer column. I'm sorry, customer table. And then there is a transaction table with customer ID again. So they have a common column, right? The ID here and the ID here. That is when, even though there is a different type of data set with the same column, you can combine them. That is a merge. Combine is a merge. And there are different type of joins. Let me get to that by easily helping you understand the Venn diagram. When there are common tables only are combining together and you take only this area, it is called as a inner join. Only matching rows. Only this area of the matching rows come into this is the inner join. Okay. So now let's get to the outer join. Any outer join is something that is represented on this side or this side. A left outer join is on the left table and the common columns. And the right outer join is very simple. Remember, these Venn diagrams are so powerful in understanding the type of joins. And this is on the right side and the middle of the inner join. This is a right outer join. See, right outer join all from the second and matching from the inside first. These two match in here, right? And the full outer join or the Cartesian product we call is everything here. Everything. Okay. So they're talking about merge type. Left outer, left outer. Okay, sorry, this is the drop down screenshot. Left outer, right outer, left outer, right outer. And then full outer join, we talked about it. It's everything between the tables. Inner is a common join. And then left anti is opposite, rows only in the first, not even the middle of the inner join. Right anti is the only this one, but not the inner ones. So anybody have questions on the merge types? Are you happy that you learned something new about the merge? Who said no? Thank you very much for saying that. And I was able to help you understand. I'm happy about that. So the append queries and the merge queries will help you combine the data between different files without the databases connection and all that stuff. So that is very powerful. Um, this one, as I was talking about, I go into transform data, and the merge query is something that it will show like this. That is a screenshot I have given in the. So you will select the other table if you have that, or you can do the same, and all this fuzzy matching and all that is little out of scope. I can explain it in the next session if you come to the session, and I'll cancel out of here. So these are the steps, applied steps that are recorded. You know that. So anyways, let's go back to the PowerPoint. It's half an hour into my session, almost a half an hour. And now we have a module that we are trying to walk through the same population file kind of a solution. So I have a rental property. I'll show you the file. I'll walk through the whole 9 yards, like, get data, do the transformation, simple transformations in the query editor, and then pull it back into the Power BI report area. So this is the file that I have. Let us explore the file. Whenever you have a request, you have to look at the raw data and have a good comprehension at it. That is very important. So let me share my screen back. This is the file that has year, month, apartment type, rented quantity, and revenue as the rental property with the year. So in the 2018 January, the 3 bedroom rental properties were 9, and this much is the revenue got by the rental property or a rental property estate company. So this is the data that they have for 2018, 19, and 20. So the question is, whenever you get a, I just want to highlight me being a BI person and a reporting person, you look at the data and you ask the question, what is that we need to present? This data that I showed you can be presented in many different possibilities. But based on the question, you have to design your visual. That is the one that you need to remember. If you are giving something that the customer doesn't want or the user doesn't want, it's of a waste. Or you give the data and ask them to explore themselves. That's another idea. So anyways, I'm going to present back again. So here we are with this information, and our research question is, going back to the PowerPoint, create a filter for the year 2019 in the transform process, apply the changes. It's very simple. I wanted to walk you through the process. That's it. We'll do that. We'll do it with the get data in the upload. We'll create a filter. We'll apply the changes and come back and create a slicer for the apartment type. Remember, we are doing get data, filter, apply changes, slicer. So there are the 4 steps. I'm going to walk through that. So we go back here. I will do in the same one, we'll do it. Why not? We can do that, right? We do Excel workbook. I have to close this file just to be safe side. And we have rental property with year. and I open it. It's opening and it showed the sheet 1. I check on it. There's a preview. I can go directly into the transform data here, or I say load and go to transform data, but I want to go into transform data right away. And I want to put a filter for 2019. So it opened up the Power Query editor. So here in the year, I will select only 2019. I wanted to pull in only 2019 data and I'll press OK. And I will go into close and apply. Ours is a sheet 1, 2. So make sure that is populating here in the fields. So here it is. I pulled it into the population. It doesn't matter. We are just doing a presentation. So here we have everything. So it's very easy. If you start selecting, it automatically creates a default table. Table is the table visualization is the default one. So here I have everything for the 2019. So if I want to create a slicer, where is our slicer? This is a slicer. So I get that here or double click. Oh, I'm sorry. This one is selected. So I go back and undo it. So I click somewhere in the Power BI canvas area and I double click the slicer and I put it down here. And to this, I will pull in my apartment type. That was our fourth. So for the 2-bedroom, that's the only one that they have. So that was a simple one. But if we had 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom, 1-bedroom, we could have selected 2-bedroom data or the 3-bedroom data, the 1-bedroom. I don't want to go into the slicer. It's just a filter that you can do. So this is what is a walkthrough that we did with the rental property year file. We did a 2019 filter. We applied the changes and we created a slicer for the apartment type. So now let's explore. Here, I'm gonna, as I said, upload all these into the new stars data file, new stars data web by sending it to the support. And you can see all these 3 labs that you can do following my same pattern. One is by the Excel file. This is the Excel file. I just walked through anyways. And this is with the REST API call. And this is with the web URL call. Okay. Any questions before I move on a little bit? Okay. Okay, I'm going to ask a couple of questions. Answer them if you can, please. If I have 10 files of the same type, this file has 4 columns, this file has 4 columns. So every file in the 10 files has 4 columns. What is a method of combining them in Power BI? What do you call them in transform data, a Power Query editor? Can somebody type in? Okay, append. Thank you. Thank you, Jacob. Okay, Jens is typing. Gagan is typing. Vault. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So append. If there are 2 data sources of the same subject with different columns, but one common column, it is a merge. I'm telling you, it's a join. Merge is nothing but a join. I'm giving out the answer because we explored only 2 types, append and merge. So merge is something that you can get together. Now I'm going to open up the floor for anybody, any question that you can ask. I want to take the challenge. You can ask even out of the scope of what I taught right now in Power BI desktop transformation, as well as any other data sources other than the databases. Yeah, I'm opening up the floor for you guys. This is almost the end of my session. I know I did it a little faster, but Thank you for joining the New Stars of Data. And now I'm opening up the floor for questions. Any questions you have, you can unmute and talk or put it in the chat window. Any questions you have, I'll try to answer them.